MATLAB, similar to other programming language, contain many functions for working with character and string. Because the character and string are a building block for many program, many application, many project in program language project. The first thing that you must know that the character array and string array provide storage for text data in MATLAB, just for text. For example, if I want to create a character string, character array in MATLAB, for example, CA, just need to use this symbol for creating a character array. For example, it is a character array. For creating a string was not before the 2017 version of MATLAB. After 2017 MATLAB support, you can create a string in MATLAB. For example, str1 equal. For creating a string, you must use this symbol. This is a string. If you go to the command window, workspace, you will see that the shape of this symbol are different with each other. Character array, it has a C and H, and string, it is a str inside of this variable. You can also create an array of string. For example, day, weeks, similar to a numeric array. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Friday. I just insert 4 days of week in here. As you see, it is a 2 in 2 string array. When you create a string in the MATLAB, you can use some command for working with the string. If you work with the Python, MATLAB also supports many functions and methods for working with string. You also convert character array to a string. It is very simple. For example, string, just use the string function and give the name of the CA as an input, and the result is a string. It was a character array, but the result is a string. If I calculate the size of this, it's a 1. But if I calculate the size of CA, it's 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you must pay attention that when you create a string, you cannot find the length of the string with the size. The size just return the number of row and column of a string array. If you use the size for this array, it will return for you the number of row. There is a 2 row and the number of column 2 in 2. You may have a question, how can I find the length of the string? For finding the length of a string, you can use the str length. What was the string? str3. The length of the string is 16. You can also convert a numeric array to a string array. For example, n is a numeric array. It is n. I want to convert it to the string array. As I said, strn is equal to string. String was a command that convert any data type to the string. The result is a string. String, it has this symbol. It means that all of these values are converted to the string. If you want to go from a string to the numeric, the command that you must use is a double. For example, I have a string that all of its elements are number. You must pay attention to this point, to this note. All of the elements are numbers, so I can convert it to a number just for typing double strn. Excuse me, yes. The result is a double. It is not a string. It can be helpful for converting a string to number. Number to a string is very useful for when you want to print a string to the user or you want to create a message. It will help you because the message must be a string and you must convert the numeric to the string. The first function that you must know, it is a join. Join is a function in MATLAB that can combine a string with each other. For example, I have this array, this string array. I want to combine these rows with each other. Can be combined by string join command in MATLAB. Join the element of a string array with each other. As you see here, all of these values created one value and all of these value is created one value. This string was a 2 row and 6 column, but the new string has a 2 row and 1 column. It can be helpful when you want to combine the element of a string with each other. If you want to determine the default value for between the string is a blank space, what you can determine a new string. For example, let's use a string. A string is that it's represented by this symbol. And now between of each element this symbol will be added, or you can use dash. Okay, how can I combine two strings with each other? For example, it is a string I am, and it is another string. How can I add these two strings with each other? It is very you will use this feature in many MATLAB code. I want to have this string I am MATLAB1.com. When do we will use this feature? When you want to print a message to the user. For example, I am in iteration, for example, iteration along, and the cost value is along that. These values are numeric array. You will convert it with string and then put them in this blank space. Okay, how can I create a string from some string? The simple way, similar to Python, is use the plus symbol. For example, A is I am, and B is if I write A plus B, you will see these two strings are added, but it is better to have a blank space between them. How can I? This is a blank space. If I use, then a blank space between these two strings are added. Or you can use plus. Plus is a function in MATLAB that add two strings with each other. But the simple way is using the plus symbol. It is very simple, and you can use it in many applications easily. I must say here that I don't want to getting familiar with all of these functions that is related to the string in MATLAB. It needs a separate tutorial. Please go to MATLAB1.com, and there is a special video tutorial about the string. String have many functions that another function that you can use in MATLAB is convert a string to the array. For example, 3 is a string, but if you want to convert double, you use the string to double. But if you want to convert a number to a string, you can use num to str. Num to str convert a number to a character string. The result is not a string. For the character array, for converting to a string, just use a string command. As I said you before, is can be used for determine the input data type. Is char check if the input is a character array or not. For example, it is a character array, no. It is a string, but it is a character array. The output is a 1. The output in here is a 0, or 20 is a number. It is not a character array. The result is a 0. Or is a string. Is a string determine if the input is a string or not. For example, it's a string, no, it is a number. It's a string, yes, the output is a 1. It's a string, no, it is a character array. So the output is 0. The next one, the first function that used for find and replace is a contain. Contains check if in a string there is a pattern or not. For example, I am MATLAB1.com. I want to check if there is a am in this array or not. Excuse me, contains. Yes, am is in this array, but is not in this string array. The result is 0. Or I can apply this to a string array. For example, contain strn is 9. There is no element that contain is, but I can check 3. Yes, there are 2 elements that are 3. So in the output, these elements are 1 and other elements are 0. Can help you for finding a pattern in a very big pattern. For example, you just want to check if the input string contains some special string that you don't support. For example, you want to set a password. Password must contain, for example, some special content. You can check if the input contains that special character or not. Another function is the maths. Maths check if the input pattern match any of the string array. For example, strn it is a string array. I want to let me to bring another example for you. it is my string array. Let me to add some character to this array. Or in here. In previous command, it was a contain. In contain, we just check if the input contain a string. It can be in the start, it can be in the middle, it can be at the end. But in the match, it must be matched, not inside a string. A string must be matched a string. Okay. It is my new string. I want to check if any value. Let me to bring example from contains. Contains string and then. As you see here, there are other character in this string, but because it contains this string, the output is 1. But if I use the maths, the result is 0 because it is not matched to this one. If I want to find the match, I use this command and the result is 1. Okay, it is a difference between maths and contains. The next is the count. Next function is a count. As the name represent to you that it counting the occurrence of a pattern in an array. For example, it don't show the place in the array. It's just counting. It's just a counter. Okay, count in strn the number of 1. As you see here, it counts the occurrence of this string in the array. It shows that just one array of 1 is in here and 1 is here. If I go to the string and add another number to this string and run it again, the new string in this element has a 3, 1. So if I again run this command, you will see that it gives me 3 count for this array and 1 for this array. It doesn't show the place, it just counting the number of occurrence in an array. The next command is a string find. A string find, as its name shows, it finds a string in the another string. It is a very useful application that you can find a string inside another string. For example, string 2 I create a string for you. MATLAB is a registered trademark of MATLAB Inc. Okay, it is a string. Excuse me. Registered trademark of Inc. Okay, I want to find a string inside this string. How can I find it? Str find, then the name of my input and the string that I want to find, for example inc. As you see, it returned for me the number that this string is happen in this line string. It contains any element has an index number, and 47 is the index number that this string starts. Let me to use another string, for example math ma just it is in here, or let me to check a there is a in here, another a is in here, another is here. We have a 4a in this array, and it returns the index of this array for us. Let me to check another example, for example matlab1.com. If there is not any occurrence of a string in the reference string, it returns empty, and you can check is empty. It shows you that this string doesn't happen in this reference string. Okay, the next function that I want to learn you, it is erase a string from another string. Let me, for example, it was a str2. If I want to remove a string from this string, I use the erase str2, for example is. As you see, the is removed or erased from a string. It helps you very much in many projects. For example, in some of my projects, I want to work with a subtitle in the movie that I must work just with a string. As you know, the subtitle in the movie are a string, and you must know all of these functions very well. If you want to remove some string, or you want to add a string, or you want to for example replace a string with another string. Another function that used very much when you want to give a string from the user is a string lower. Lower convert a string to lowercase. As you see, the output is lower and the inverse is upper. Upper convert to the uppercase. What's the application of this function? Suppose that you want to give an input from the user. In the MATLAB, you can create the GUI. For example, app or the guide, you can create these in the MATLAB very easily. And you want to take input from the user. User can enter, for example, type OK or yes or no. The user can type many type. For example, user can type yes. User can type yes. User can type yes, or user can type yes. Every user can type yes in many type. But when you want to compare the things that user enter, if you use the lower function, if you use lower function, all of these will be converted to yes, because you use the lower case. And if then the user can type all of these and your program will work. But if you don't use the lower, just when the user type this case, your program will work, and it is not good for your code. It's one of the application, but it has many application. The next command is a string CMP. String CMP compare to a string with each other. It's very simple. For example, AL compare with AL, the result is 1 because all of them are similar. If you compare with AF, they are not similar and return the 0 for you. What's the application of string CMP? String CMP is used in the condition. When you want to compare a string with a reference. For example, in here, suppose that the input from the user is int, and you want to compare it with a yes. As I said, you must use the lower to convert this input to lowercase. Then, if the user enter one of these type for yes, this condition will be satisfied and the command in this section will be run. The string CMP used for compare to a string. There are many functions in the MATLAB for working with a string. MATLAB currently supports the regular expression. Regular expression is one of the most useful tools and library for working with a string. For example, when you want to work in the web and you want to extract some string from a web, or you want to work with a line type of string, or anything that if you want to work in NLP, natural language processing, most of them use regular expression for working. Python support regular expression, and MATLAB currently support regular expression. It is a very difficult subject for learning, and you must practice very much to know regular expression. In another field, we will speak about the regular expression. Please go to the matlab1.com. You will see this course in our site.